morning, students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is doing well today. So today we are going to start off with the new chapter, which is from the subject economics, and this is the lecture 1 from chapter number 4, globalization and the Indian economy. So today we are going to start off with the new chapter with the name globalization and the Indian economy. So in this particular chapter, we'll get to know about what is globalization. You must have read about these things in your previous classes also. But in this particular chapter, we are going to relate globalization with the current market situation and how it influences the Indian economy. So these are the things that we are going to discuss about, basically about the production that we do across the countries and within the country, and how basically globalization is affecting our national economy, and basically it has progressed in these particular years from the past century till now. So how it has impacted into our Indian economy, that are the things that we are going to study in this particular chapter. So today the topics that we will be covering would be from this chapter. Basically, I'm going to give you a quick introduction about what this chapter is all about. So I am going to introduce you with this chapter. Then we are going to talk about the production across the countries that we do on a current basis, that what is the current rate or what is the current status of the production that we do with across countries and how it impacts the Indian economy. Then we are going to talk about the interlinking production across the countries. So basically, what are the interconnections that we have through the rate of production across the countries. Then the foreign trade and the integration of markets with their examples. So we are going to take these topics with examples, so it is a better learning for you all. And the homework solution, the assignment that I have given you in the previous lecture, the solution you will get in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss that, and the homework that I want to assign you in this particular lecture. So these are going to be the topics that we will be covering in today's lecture. So be prepared and please start. Before that, please be ready with your book, one notebook for your writing down your notes, and one pen in your hand. That is very much needed. So be prepared for today's lecture. We are starting with a new chapter. So let the lecture start. We can start off with the lecture now. So first of all, I want to introduce you with this chapter, which is globalization and the Indian economy. So before this, I just want to let you know that most of the regions of the world are like getting increasingly interconnected. Now we are at a time where we are very much connected with each other, from the social media to if you want to buy anything from any part of the world or country, state, anywhere, you can just buy it into that easiness. So that what it is called, that interconnectedness. So while this interconnectedness that is there across these countries has many dimensions through culture, political, social, economic life, but this chapter we are going to look forward about how globalization in a more limited sense talk about how this production rate has increased and what they have impacted to our Indian economy. So to define globalization, it is in the integration between the countries through foreign trade or foreign investment by multinational corporations, and all these things have basically an important part in our today's world. So if we look at the past 30 years or so, you can find that there have been increasing MNCs that have been played a major role here, and they are the major force for the globalization process that has connected from the smallest region to the different parts of the countries. And we are now being the source of that is the interconnectedness that we have with our country towards the other countries as well. So now we can start off what does this chapter is all about. So I have just given you a brief description of globalization and how it is coming up into our national economy. So as consumers in today's world, some of us have a wide choice of goods and services before us. So now, if we talk about the current generation demands have increased so much that we want the latest technology, mobile phones, laptops. We want the best of the best things around us, especially in terms of technology. The latest thing that is coming up, we are always like up to all these things that we want them. So basically the latest models of everything, like these digital cameras are coming up, mobile phones, television, they are made by these leading manufacturers of the world, and which are within our reach also now. Some before that there were only limited companies which were making these things, and which was to a certain limit. मतलब इतना ज़्यादा रेंज नहीं था इन चीज़ों का कि मतलब आप अगर मोबाइल फोन भी देखो तो उसमें इतनी ज़्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी ने डेवलपमेंट नहीं की थी. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट फ्रॉम द लास्ट 20 or to 30 years, but in the recent changes that we have seen through these multinational companies and these leading manufacturers, we have seen a drastic change. Like every season we are getting new models of automobiles which we can see on Indian roads as well, and they are gone by the days when ambassadors and Fiat were the only cars on Indian roads. So before that, if you have seen it 1990s टाइम और 20s टाइम, तब जो गाड़ियां होती थी ना जिनको लग्जरियस माना जाता था, दे वर ओनली दिस एम्बेसडर और फेट, जो कि मतलब ऐसे अभी जो चलाते हैं ना ये गवर्नमेंट एजेंट्स वगैरह, यही गाड़ी को एक लग्जरियस गाड़ी माना जाता था उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे. बट नाउ these days are gone. The luxurious cars, the automobile companies have come up to such a good models, new models, that they don't even like stand next to like any of these cars anymore. Like these Audi, BMWs, Jaguar or Lamborghini, these are few of the models that are coming up. और सारे जो generation है, they are attracting more and more to these new companies and new models. So today India are buying cars which are produced by nearby to all the top companies in the world. Now in India's also, if like you have the like ability to like buy these particular cars, so they are buying it. So in India we are in the verge of that we have the ability to buy these cars which are produced by nearby all the top companies in the world now. And a similar explosion of brands can be seen for many other goods as well, like from the shirts to television to processed fruit juice and all these things. So everything we want latest, everything we want the best out of everyone. So अगर आप ब्रांडेड क्लोथ लेना पसंद करते हो, अब आपको आपकी प्रेफरेंसेस अलग अलग होते हैं कि नो आई वांट दिस, यही ब्रांड से मुझे चीज़ें खरीदनी है, इसी ब्रांड की टेलीविजन होना चाहिए, या फिर I will prefer this brand over the other. So actually the thing is कि डिमांड इतनी ज़्यादा हो गई है मतलब, और कंपनीज इतनी ज़्यादा एक्सपांड हो चुकी हैं. बट हाउ इट इज़ पॉसिबल कि ये जितनी भी एक्सपेंशन जो अभी हमने देखने को मिला, इतने सारे ब्रांड्स, इतनी सारी न्यू चीज़ें जो आ रही हैं, हाउ दिस इज कमिंग आउट एंड हाउ वी आर कनेक्टिंग टू द अदर कंट्रीज. So we'll listen to this again in the further things, like such wide-ranging choices of goods that we are having in our markets. It is relatively the recent phenomenon. Before that, there were very limited choice that we were having. Like before your birth, we can say that अभी आपकी जो एज है, इससे पहले जो भी लोगों के पास चॉइसेस होती थी वो बहुत ही लिमिटेड उस लेवल पे होती थी. बट नाउ we are having a very wide-ranging choice of goods in our market, which is relatively the recent phenomenon. You wouldn't have found such a wide variety of goods in Indian markets even 2 decades back. If you say that like 2 decades back, just I said that before your birth, we haven't seen any of these variety of goods in the Indian market. But in a matter of years that has come up, our markets have been transformed to something really something to very advanced, and like how do we understand this rapid transformation that has come up. So एकदम से ही मतलब जो हमने देखा है कि 1 or 2 decade के बीच में this transformation have increased so much that this rapid transformation has came up so big into our generation. So how it is come up? How can we understand about this rapid transformation? What are the major factors that are bringing about these changes, and how are these changes affecting the lives of the people now. So we shall dwell on these questions in this particular chapter. तो जितने भी आपके ये क्वेश्चंस हैं अभी हमने जो डिस्कस किया दैट कि ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कैसे आया, व्हाट आर द मेजर फैक्टर्स दैट आर ब्रिंगिंग अप दीज चेंजेस एंड what are these changes, how these changes are affecting the lives of the common people. We are going to discuss each and everything in this particular chapter. This is the basic introduction about the chapter. I hope so now you are able to get what this chapter is all about. So moving forward, the first topic that we are going to take from this chapter is production across countries. So basically many of the countries are producing a lot of items. Many of the companies have their own manufacturing agents or traders or companies that they have having their own. So before these 2 decades, like until the mid of the 20th century, जो production जो actually में होता था, that was largely organized within the countries only. So majorly जितने भी आपकी प्रोडक्शन कंपनीज जो मैन्युफैक्चर करती थी और जो भी चीजें होती थी, मतलब जो भी प्रोडक्ट्स बनते थे, that was largely organized within the countries only, and what crossed the boundaries of these countries were raw material, foodstuff and finished products. Apart from these the final goods we were having, that was only being being organized within the countries. Apart from that, what has been crossing the boundaries with what we are sharing and exporting and importing the things with the other countries were the raw materials, the foodstuff and the finished products. Now all these colonies such as India has exported raw materials and foodstuff, and they have imported these finished goods with other countries. So from kind of a century, more than a century, we can say that we are sharing and exporting the raw material and foodstuff, and we have imported also the finished goods. Now trade was the main channel connecting these distant countries. So recently we have just talked about the this particular chapter in the from geography that we have covered. So in that we have just talked about this only, that the trading system, how it has involved and everything. So basically जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है या फिर ये how it has basically the same thing is happening here also, that the trade was the main channel that is connecting with the distant countries here. So this was before these large companies called multinational corporations emerged as the scene. So basically ये पहले नहीं था क्योंकि पहले जो सीन था वो यही था कि विद इन द कंट्री ही जो ट्रेडिंग सिस्टम होता था. उसके अलावा अगर हम जो भी एक्सपोर्टिंग एंड इंपोर्टिंग सिस्टम होता था वो रॉ मटेरियल से रिलेटेड होता था, या तो कुछ छोटे मोटे फूड स्टफ हो गए या फिर कुछ फिनिश प्रोडक्ट हो गए, बस वही. जब हमारे कंट्री में ये MNCs का आना शुरू हुआ, these multinational corporations have come up, so the scene has totally changed. Now these MNCs are companies that owns or controls production in more than one nation. So what these multinational corporations do, ये मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं बहुत सारे लोगों के मतलब जो भी कंपनीज के प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं वो इनसे मदद मांगते हैं ताकि उनके प्रोडक्ट्स एक कंट्री से दूसरी कंट्री में जा सके, और वो मतलब उनकी हेल्प करते हैं इन दी प्रोडक्शन साइड. तो बेसिकली दे ओन्स एंड कंट्रोल द प्रोडक्शन इन मोर देन वन नेशन. Now the MNCs set up offices and factories for production in regions where they can get cheap labor and other resources. So how these MNCs help them? Basically they provide in the offices या हो गए या तो factories हो गए, they for जो भी production side इनका चलता है different region में, they provide them cheap labor and other resources so that जो भी उनका production cost हो, basically all this thing is done so that the cost of production is low and the MNCs can earn greater profit out of them. So what is their strategy about these things, providing them cheap labor and the resources, that with their cost of production is going to be low and the MNCs can earn greater profit out of it. So we are going to talk about one example here that considers about this particular situation. So what is that example? That is spreading of production by an MNC. So basically in this particular example we can talk about how this MNC work with different countries and how basically they produce the things. So a large MNC producing industrial equipments and they design its products in research centers in the United States. Basically there is a large MNC who is producing these industrial equipments and they design its products in research, basically in research centers in the United Nations, and then they have the components manufactured in China. Basically all the production work they are doing it in the United States, and they are manufacturing the finished goods to China. Now these are then shifted to Mexico and Eastern Europe, where the products are assembled and the finished products are sold all over the world. Now उन्होंने जो भी ट्रांसपोर्ट किया, मतलब जो एक्सपोर्ट किया फ्रॉम यूनाइटेड स्टेट टू चाइना, वो उसके कुछ कंपोनेंट थे. अब उन्होंने क्या किया, चाइना ने उसके कुछ उसको लाइट फिनिश प्रोडक्ट बना के उसको शिफ्ट कर दिया मैक्सिको और ईस्टर्न यूरोप में, एंड वेयर दे हैव लाइक उन्होंने क्या किया, उन प्रोडक्ट्स को असेंबल किया और उसको फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स में बनाया और उसको सोल्ड आउट किया ऑल ओवर दी वर्ल्ड. सो बेसिकली व्हाट दिस एमएनसीज डू, ये अपना प्रोडक्शन साइज निकालते हैं डिफरेंट, मतलब कुछ जो रॉ मटेरियल हो गया, फिर कुछ भी चीज़ें हुई, उसको प्रोडक्शन करवाते हैं डिफरेंट स्टेट डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में. फिर वो उनकी जो एक्सपोर्टिंग होती है, इंपोर्टिंग होती है डिफरेंट कंट्रीज के साथ, वो करते हैं. बाकी जो कंट्रीज होती हैं वो उसको खरीदते हैं और उसका जो भी जो एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉफिट होता है वो एमएनसीज को मिलता है, और बाकी में जो भी उनका फिनिश प्रोडक्ट बना लेते हैं वो उस कंट्री को मिल जाता है. सो मीनवाइल द कंट्रीज कस्टमर केयर इज कैरिड आउट थ्रू कॉल सेंटर्स एंड लोकेटेड इन इंडिया. तो अगर कोई भी उनको डिफिकल्टी होती है कंपनी से रिलेटेड, उनको कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछने होते हैं लाइक कि हमारा प्रोडक्ट काम नहीं कर रहा, या फिर उनको कोई भी सर्विस चाहिए होती है रिलेटेड टू दी प्रोडक्ट से रिलेटेड जो भी वो खरीदते हैं, सो दे आर सर्टनली दीज एमएनसीज कॉल सेंटर्स हैव बीन आल्सो मेड अप, जो कि कस्टमर केयर की सारी जो क्वेरीज होती है वो सारी चीजें लेते हैं. सो दे कैरी थ्रू दिस कॉल सेंटर्स विच आर लोकेटेड इन इंडिया. डिफरेंट कंपनी, मतलब जो बाकी सारी जो कंट्रीज में से जितनी भी कंपनीज होती हैं उनके कुछ मार्केट एजेंट्स होते हैं जो कि उनसे क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं कि मतलब किसी भी प्रोडक्ट से रिलेटेड. सो दैट्स हाउ दीज एमएनसीज वर्क. Now in this example, the MNC is not only selling its finished products globally, but more important, the goods and services are produced globally. So basically in this example के through you can see that the MNC is not only selling the finished products basically globally, जैसे उन्होंने यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स को चाइना में दिया, फिर चाइना ने उसके कुछ जो उसके पार्ट्स हैं उन्होंने कहीं और कंट्री में भेजा, उन्होंने उसको कुछ और असेंबल करके कोई और प्रोडक्ट बनाया. तो बेसिकली व्हाट दे आर डूइंग, they are selling the finished products globally, but more importantly the goods and services are produced globally. मतलब एक चीज एक कंट्री में नहीं बन रही है, वो ग्लोबली उसको आप डेवलप कर सकते हो हर जगह से. तो एज अ रिजल्ट द प्रोडक्शन इज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इन इंक्रीजिंगली कॉम्प्लेक्स वेज. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि एक प्रोडक्ट जो है वो एक ही कंट्री में बन रहा है, वो उसको असेंबलिंग करने के लिए, उसकी प्रोडक्शन के लिए, मतलब वो जगह जगह ट्रैवल करके भी जाता है. Basically, the production is organized in very increasingly complex way. The production process is divided into small parts and they spread out across the globe. So basically, कुछ ऐसे products होते हैं जो उसकी manufacturing होती है या फिर जो भी होता है. The process is divided into small parts and it is basically spread out across the globe to build up that particular product. So in the above example, China provides the advantage of being a cheap manufacturing location. So basically उनका जो भी रॉ मटेरियल उनको जो यूनाइटेड नेशन से मिला उन्होंने वो सारा चाइना को दे दिया, क्योंकि उनके पास चीप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग लोकेशन थी, लेबर से. सो उन्होंने उसका अच्छे खासे उसको फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स में बनाया. देन मैक्सिको और ईस्टर्न यूरोप आर यूजफुल फॉर देयर क्लोजनेस टू द मार्केट्स इन द यूएस एंड यूरोप. सो हाउ दे हैव यूटिलाइज द अदर कंट्रीज हियर. चाइना ने सारा जो उनका जो प्रोडक्शन हुआ उन्होंने मैक्सिको और ईस्टर्न यूरोप को बेच दिया, सो दैट क्योंकि बेसिकली उनके आसपास इतनी मार्केट्स नहीं है कि वो इस चीज़ आराम से बेच सके. तो उन्होंने बाकी कंट्री से हेल्प ली, उनकी हेल्प लेके, बिकॉज दे आर वेरी क्लोज टू द मार्केट्स इन द यूएस एंड द यूरोप. सो दैट्स द कनेक्शन ग्लोबली दैट इज हैविंग विद द प्रोडक्शन साइड. बेसिकली द एमएनसी हेल्प देम to inculcate the selling of these goods and services through happening in throughout the world. मतलब जहाँ पे जो चीज़ बेनिफिशियली वो चीज़ पॉसिबल हो, जिसमें आप कॉस्ट कटिंग कर सको प्रोडक्शन में, वो करते हैं और उसको फिर हायर रेट में दूसरी कंट्रीज में बेचते हैं. Now India has highly skilled engineers who can understand the technical aspects of production. It also has educated English speaking youth. Basically the interlinking, this is the interlinking production across the country. So India is one of the countries that has highly skilled engineers who can understand the technical aspects of production here. So it also has educated English speaking youth who can provide customer care services. So basically it has because of these things only, they have educated English speaking youth who can provide customer care services to them, and all this probably can mean 50 to 60% cost saving for the MNC. So the advantage of spreading out the production across the borders to the multinationals can be truly immense. So how this interlinking production across the countries helps the different parts of the country and for the MNC as well. So MNCs के लिए क्या beneficial होता है यहाँ पे, that जैसे इंडिया हो गया, इंडिया हैज हाईली स्किल्ड इंजीनियर्स हो गए जिनके पास टेक्निक्स होती हैं अबाउट हाउ टू डू दिस प्रोडक्शन थिंग्स, मतलब उसमें कॉस्ट कटिंग कैसे की जाती है या फिर बात कैसे की जाती है कस्टमर सर्विस से, क्योंकि हमारे पास है, वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आउट देयर दोज हु हैव लाइक well educated, who know how to speak in English, and this English speaking youth can provide them customer care services. तो basically उन्होंने MNC हमारे इंडिया में इसलिए इतने आता है, और ये केयर कॉल सेंटर्स हो गए या फिर ये कस्टमर केयर सर्विसेज हो गए इतने आता होगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हमारे पास हैं बहुत सारे एजुकेटेड इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग जो कि इन सारी चीज़ों में चले जाते हैं, दे आर पेइंग वेल. तो बेसिकली ये जो कस्टमर केयर सर्विस होती है ना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, एंड दैट्स वाई प्रोबेबली इसी वजह से जो 50 to 60% जो कॉस्ट सेविंग होता है वो एमएनसी का इसी से हो जाता है, क्योंकि जो भी उनको हेल्प चाहिए होती है जो भी होता है ये दे एक्चुअली सॉर्ट इट आउट विद दीज कस्टमर केयर, डायरेक्टली उनसे सॉर्ट आउट कर लेते हैं, तो उनके पास ज़्यादा रिपेयरिंग या फिर उसके जो भी आफ्टर जो मतलब उसकी कॉस्ट होता है प्रोडक्शन के बाद जो कॉस्ट लगता है वो नहीं लगता. So basically the advantage of spreading out the production across the borders to the multinationals can be truly immense. Now this interlinking production across countries, how it actually help us. So basically in general, these MNCs set up production where it is close to the markets. So अगर देखा जाए तो how these MNCs set up the production sites, basically they do it to where there is a closeness to the market. जितना नियर मार्केट के होगा उतना उसका जो सर्विस टैक्स है या फिर जो उसके मतलब सर्विस टैक्स हो गया तो उसकी बेसिकली उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करने में या चीज़ें उसमें देने में उसकी जो कॉस्ट कटिंग है वो सबसे ज़्यादा होती है. सो बेसिकली the MNC set up this production where it is very much close to the markets where there is skilled and unskilled laborers available at low cost. तो जैसे अभी मैंने आपको उस चैप्टर में भी पढ़ाया था जिसमें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज थी, तो हमने वही देखा था कि जो भी इंडस्ट्रीज जो भी सेटअप थी ये ऐसी लोकेशन पे सेटअप थी जहाँ पे फैक्टर्स उनको ये मिले, पहली चीज दैट दे कैन गेट लोकेशन एट अ जो कि नियर बाय टू द मार्केट हो. दूसरी चीज यही हमने पढ़ी थी कि उनके पास स्किल्ड लेबर हो या फिर अनस्किल्ड लेबर हो जो कि उनको लो कॉस्ट में मिल जाए. So basically these are the few factors that are important, and where there is the availability of other factors of production is assured, which we have talked in the manufacturing industries. Same it can be applied here also. So basically these are the additional things that is helping out the more companies here. So in addition to that, MNCs might look for government policies that look after their interests. So you will read more about these policies later in this chapter. जो policies है मैं आपको आगे बताऊंगी वो कैसी policies है, how they help the take the help of the government policies here who are taking care of their interests. Now apart from that, we are having assured themselves of these conditions that MNCs set up factories and offices for production. So basically they are having assured they have certain conditions that how they are going to set up these factories and offices for production. So how they set up these things, so the money that is spent to buy the assets such as land, building, machines and other equipment is called investment. So the first step that is having for the setup of any factory and offices for basically for production, so what these MNCs need, एसेट्स को खरीदने के लिए, जितने भी उनके जो एसेट्स होते हैं, स्पेशली लैंड हो गया, बिल्डिंग हो गया, मशीन, अदर इक्विपमेंट्स, दे नीड इन्वेस्टमेंट. So that's the kind of a capital there that is needed. तो उसको हम इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कहते हैं. So these investments made by the MNC is called foreign investment. तो बेसिकली जो भी MNC, जो मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज पैसा लगाती हैं इन कंपनीज में, वो डिफरेंट कंपनीज में, वो जैसे उनको कुछ हेल्प चाहिए होती है, कोई भी ऐसी कंपनी ले लो, रिलायंस हो या फिर कोई भी इंडियन कंपनी अपना नया प्रोडक्शन खोलना चाहती हो, so if they are taking any help like these land building machineries, that's known as investment. और जब वो इन्वेस्टमेंट that is made by the MNCs, अगर वो MNC से ले रहे हैं, it is called foreign investment here. So any investment is made with the hope that these assets will earn profit for them. So why these companies take the help of MNCs, these investments? So basically the main idea behind is that these investments could be help them, like these assets could help them to earn more profit in the future. So that's the moral aspect that they think about from taking the help as an investment from these MNCs. So at times these MNCs set up production jointly with some of the local companies of these countries. So more or less, which I just said, that the MNCs can set up these production jointly with some of the local companies which are there in India. Like हमारे इंडिया में जैसे कुछ टाटा की कंपनी हो गई, या फिर अंबानी, रिलायंस हो गया, या फिर कोई भी आप बड़ी से बड़ी कंपनी ले लो या छोटी कंपनी ले लो, जो लोकल कंपनी होती है विद इन द कंट्री दैट इज एस्टैब्लिश्ड. So at times these MNCs set up this production jointly with the hand of these local companies of these countries. The benefit of the local company of such joint production is twofold. So what does twofold mean? That it is going to benefit the MNCs and it is going to benefit the companies. So benefit ये होता है कि दोनों जो भी प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट होगा, वो इन्वेस्टमेंट देंगे, उसका जो प्रॉफिट आएगा वो वो के साथ एक शेयर वो बांट देते हैं कि इसका जो प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग होगा हमें हाफ कर लेंगे, या फिर इस परसेंटेज में हम एक दूसरे बांटेंगे. So basically the benefit of having the connection with the local companies here is that such joint production is known as twofold, that it is going to benefit both of them. So first, that MNCs can provide money for additional investments like buying new machines for faster production. तो वो किस वे में हेल्प करती हैं MNCs ताकि उनको भी बेनिफिट हो और दूसरी कंपनी को भी. पहली चीज, these MNCs can provide them money to buy additional assets अगर उनको चाहिए होता है एज इन्वेस्टमेंट, लाइक न्यू मशीन्स चाहिए होती हैं या फास्टर प्रोडक्शन के लिए कुछ भी उनको चाहिए हो, तो MNCs उनकी हेल्प कर सकती हैं. सेकेंड, MNCs might bring with them the latest technology of production. तो बेसिकली जो हम लोकल जो कंपनीज हैं इंडिया जो यूज़ कर रहे हैं, मे बी जो हम अभी करंटली जो मशीन्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं, जो एसेट्स यूज़ हम कर रहे हैं, वो इतनी लेटेस्ट ना हो और वो इतनी जल्दी हमें फास्ट रिजल्ट ना दें. बट इफ वी टेक द हेल्प फ्रॉम दिस MNC कंपनी, वी कैन गेट द लेटेस्ट मॉडल्स जो कि करंटली हमें कहीं से भी वो अवेलेबल करवा सकते हैं, वो भी एट अ वेरी लोअर रेट. दैट वुड बी अ सेकेंड बेनिफिट दैट कुड बी हैविंग फॉर द लोकल कंपनीज फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर कंट्री. But the most common route for these MNC investment is to buy up local companies and then to expand the production here. So the most common route for the MNC investment to any of these local companies that they have to expand the production in any possible. So these MNC with huge wealth can quite easily do so because they are having such a lot of investment that they are doing. And they are helping, they are earning a lot of profit out of them also, so they are having a huge wealth which could be easily do any sort of production help for these local companies out there. So to take an example, there is Cargill Foods, that is a very large American MNC. They had brought over smaller Indian companies such as Parak Foods, and this Parak Foods had built a large marketing network in various parts of India where its brand was well reputed, and also Parak Foods had 4 oil refineries whose control has now shifted to Cargill. Now Cargill is now the largest producer of edible oil in India with the capacity to make 5 million pouches daily. So basically if in this particular example we can see that the Cargill Foods they have like held this Para Foods here, which is quite a very smaller Indian company here. And this Para Food, they have built a large marketing network through this MNCs only. India की company है, still they can with the how they have taken the help of the MNC कि उन्होंने अपना जो नेटवर्क है वो हर पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में पहुंचाया विद दिस MNC की हेल्प की वजह से. नाउ देयर ब्रांड इज वेल रेप्यूटेड बिकॉज ऑफ MNC ने उनकी हेल्प की उस चीज को स्प्रेड अप करने में. सो दे नाउ आर हैविंग 4 ऑयल रिफाइनरीज, दे हैव कंट्रोल और शिफ्टेड दैट टू कारगिल फूड्स को ही उन्होंने मीट अपना सारा जो है कंट्रोल दे दिया है. सो नाउ they have come up with the largest producer of edible oil in India with the capacity to make 5 million pouches in daily basically. So in fact many of the top MNCs have wealth exceeding the entire budgets of the developing countries government. So now many of these MNC companies could have a lot of amount of money which could actually exceed the entire budget of the developing countries government. With such enormous wealth, imagine the power and influence of these MNCs could have in any part of the country. So there is another way in which MNC control the production. Basically, these large MNCs in the developed countries place orders for production with small producers. Like वो छोटे छोटे producers जो होते हैं, छोटे छोटे companies हैं, उनको पकड़ते हैं, उनकी help करने की कोशिश करते हैं ताकि उनसे वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा profit earn कर सके. क्योंकि वो ऐसे लोगों की हेल्प करते हैं जिनको उनकी सबसे ज्यादा नीड हो. अब बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज होते हैं वो ऑलरेडी इतनी एस्टैब्लिश है, उनको उनकी क्या जरूरत पड़ेगी. लेकिन जिनको अपना जो बिजनेस है वो एक्सपैंड करने की जरूरत है, वो होती है ये छोटी छोटी लोकल कंपनीज जो होती हैं, वो फिर हेल्प लेती हैं बड़ी MNCs के और उनको उनकी जो प्रोडक्शन होता है वो पहुँचाने की कोशिश करते हैं हर जगह. बेसिकली जो गारमेंट्स हो गए, फुटवेयर हो गए, स्पोर्ट्स आइटम हो गया, आर एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ दीज इंडस्ट्रीज वेयर प्रोडक्शन इज कैरिड आउट बाय अ large number of small producers around the world. Now the products are supplied to the MNCs which then they sell these under their own brand names to the customers, and these large MNCs have tremendous power to determine price, quality, delivery and labor conditions for their distant producers. So अब जैसे आपने नाम भी सुने होंगे, Adidas हो गया, Nike हो गया, या फिर आप कोई भी बड़ा से बड़ा ब्रांड ले लो. बेसिकली द प्रोडक्ट्स दैट आर सप्लाइड टू दिस, दे आर सप्लाइंग टू दिस MNC कंपनीज ओनली. दे सेल दिस अंडर देयर own brand names to the consumers, and these large MNCs have tremendous power to determine the price, quality. तो अब आप देखोगे कि इसके बहुत ही लोकल चैनल्स भी होते हैं जो कि कम रेट होंगे, लेकिन जो ओरिजिनल्स होते हैं तो वो उसकी जो रेट है जो कंपनीज के साथ जब जुड़ जाती है उसकी रेट डबल हो जाती है. सो बेसिकली दे डिटरमाइन दी प्राइस, द क्वालिटी, डिलीवरी और हर एक चीज़ का वो नाप तोल करके उस चीज़ की प्रोडक्शन करते हैं. उसके अलावा thus we can see that there are a variety of ways in which the MNCs are spreading their production and interacting with local producers in various countries across the globe. So by setting up the partnership with local companies, by using the local companies for suppliers, and by closely competing with the local companies or buying them up, so these MNCs are exerting a very strong influence on the production at these distant locations. So as a result, the production in these are widely disparate locations is getting very much interlinked with each other. Now the last topic that we are going to take in this lecture is foreign trade and integration of markets. So how this foreign trade is integrated with the markets that we are having in our local countries. So for a long time the foreign trade has been the main channel that is connecting the countries. So जितना भी trading system है जो मतलब मैंने अपने last chapter में पढ़ा था, that is the one that is interlinking the different countries with each other. So in history you would have read about the trade routes that are connecting from India and the South Asia to markets both in the east and the west, and the extensive trade that took place along these routes. So they basically we have talked about the sea routes that are there, which are connected through from India to South Asia or from east to west. So basically they have certain routes जहाँ से ये trading system work करता था. Now also you would have also remember that it was the trading interest which attracted various trading companies such as the East India companies to India. So East India Company, so that's the most famous one that we have studied in India, in the art history book also. So that was one of the famous trading companies that was established in India. And but what then it is basic functions of these foreign trade here. So now we are going to talk about what are the basic functions of this foreign trade that is happening to integrate the markets. So to put it simply, the foreign trade creates an opportunity for the producers to reach beyond the domestic markets. So बात ये हो जाती है यहाँ पे, to put it really simply, that the foreign trade, they are creating opportunity for the producers ताकि वो अपना जो business है वो expand कर सके from domestic market to the foreign market. So markets of their own country, so मतलब basically जो अपने business को expand करने के लिए they take the help of the foreign trade and basically आप एक जो डोमेस्टिक मार्केट्स होती हैं आप उसी में अपना सेल आउट करते हो तो वो दैट्स अ लिमिटेड अर्निंग, बट विद द हेल्प ऑफ द फॉरेन ट्रेड अगर आप उस चीज को दूसरी जगह पहुंचाओ, द प्रोड्यूसर्स कैन सेल देयर प्रोड्यूस नॉट ओनली इन द मार्केट्स लोकेटेड विद इन द कंट्री बट दे कैन आल्सो compete in the markets located to the other countries of the world. That is a bonus point and that is a bonus profit that they can earn. You can't even imagine how much profit they can earn out of it. Similarly, for the buyers also, the import of these goods produced in another country is one way of expanding the choice of goods that is beyond what is domestically produced. So पहली चीज़ तो जो हम buyers के होते हैं, अब हम हर कंट्री में तो जा नहीं सकते कि हमें इस मतलब इस कंट्री से ये ब्रांड पसंद है तो ये खरीदना है. सो सिमिलरली व्हाट दे डू दैट जितने भी गुड्स प्रोड्यूस होते हैं अदर कंट्रीज के, दे एक्सपैंड द चॉइस ऑफ गुड्स दैट इज बियॉन्ड व्हाट इज डोमेस्टिकली प्रोड्यूस. तो वो उनके अपने अपने शोरूम्स यहाँ पे भी खोल रखे हैं एंड नाउ वी कैन वाइडली एक्सेप्ट जितने भी इंटरनेशनल ब्रांड्स हैं हम खरीद सकते हैं एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम फ्रॉम दीज मॉल्स और जहाँ पे भी उन्होंने अपनी चीज़ें लोकेट कर रखी हैं. So in general, with the opening of trade, goods travel from one market to another now. So because of this trading system, goods travel from one market to another. Choice of good in the market that is quite rising, and the price of similar goods in the two markets tend to become equal. So basically, choice हमारे पास ज़्यादा है markets में, that is coming up, और जो prices हैं उनको वो भी equal रखने पड़ता है क्योंकि competition बहुत ज़्यादा है. So that's one of the reason, and the producers in the two countries now closely compete against each other even though they are separated by thousands of miles. So basically just because of this trading system and जो भी companies हैं जो भी अपने जो माल है वो इधर से उधर बेचते हैं या फिर हम अपना जो भी कंपनीज का माल है उधर से उधर बेचते हैं. अब क्या हो गया, we are in a very close competition with each other because of this thing only. Now this foreign trade thus results in connecting the market or integrate the market in different countries with the help of this trading system. Like we are taking the example of Chinese toys in India. So these Chinese manufacturers learn of an opportunity to export toys to India, where toys are sold at a higher price. They start exporting plastic toys to India, and the buyers in India now have the option of choosing between India and the Chinese toys. So because of the cheaper price and new design, Chinese toys become more popular in the Indian markets. Within a year, 70 to 80% of the toy shops have replaced Indian toys with the Chinese toys here, and toys are now cheaper in the Indian markets than earlier. So this is one of the common examples that could explain these things currently कि हमने तो सारी चाइनीज वाली चीज़ों को बैन क्यों किया, क्योंकि मेजरली वो अपनी चीज़ें हमारे यहाँ पे बेचते हैं क्योंकि उनका जो प्रोडक्शन रेट होता है वो बहुत कम होता है और वो उनको जो हमारे यहाँ पे वो चीप रेट में हमें लगता है ना कि वो तो बहुत सस्ता है हमें से वो हमें खरीद लेना चाहिए, चाहे वो कहीं और से भी क्यों ना आया, स्टिल दे आर अर्निंग अ लॉट ऑफ अमाउंट फ्रॉम दैट ओनली. मतलब 70 to 80% अगर हम देखा जाए कि टॉय जो बिक रहे हैं दैट इज रिप्लेस इंडियन टॉयज विद चाइनीज. मतलब कितना हमें उनसे खरीदना पड़ जाता है क्योंकि डिमांड पड़ जाती है यहाँ पे कि यही चीज़ें चाहिए. अब वो हम उनसे खरीदते हैं जिस भी, चाहे वो हमें कम रेट में देते हैं क्योंकि प्रोडक्शन रेट सच्ची में बहुत कम होता है, चाहे हमें लग रहा हो कि ये तो बहुत सस्ता है लेकिन उसको उनसे भी सस्ता पड़ता है और उससे जो प्रॉफिट उनको ऑन होता है दैट इज यू कांट इवन इमेजिन. सो दैट्स व्हाई जो कंपटीशन ये फॉरेन ट्रेड वाला जो सिस्टम चलता है दूसरे कंट्रीज का, हम उनकी जो चीज़ें खरीदते हैं प्रॉफिट जो मेजर उनका होता है वो उन्हीं को मिलता है. तो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग हियर इज दैट एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ ट्रेड the Chinese toys come into the Indian markets, and in the competition between Indian and Chinese toys, toys prove are better. Now the Indian buyers have a greater choice of toys and at a lower price, and for the Chinese toy makers, this provides an opportunity to expand their businesses, and the opposition it's true for Indian toy makers. They face losses as their toys are selling much less just because they are having a little more cost than the Chinese one. तो सब हमारे इंडिया में सोच ही है कि जो चीज़ सस्ती है वो खरीद लो. अब वो चीज़ इस चीज़ का एक दूसरा साइड भी ये होता है कि हम ये नहीं देखते कि वो चीज़ कहाँ से आ रही है. उसका प्रॉफिट हमारे खुद की कंट्री को मिलेगा, हमारी खुद की इकोनॉमी अच्छी होगी, हम किसी और की कर रहे हैं. हम ये चीज़ तो सोचते ही नहीं है. तो अभी भी जितने ये ऐप्स बैन हुई है, इसका मेजर लॉस अभी चाइना को इतना ज़्यादा हुआ है दैट यू कांट इवन इमेजिन. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी टेकिंग दिस स्टेप दैट कि हमारी इंडियन इकोनॉमी जो हमारा जीडीपी रेट इतना गिर गया है वो थोड़ा ऊपर आ सके. सो दैट्स व्हाई टेकिंग दीज ऑल दीज स्टेप्स कि हम बैन कर रहे हैं बाहर के प्रोडक्ट्स को. हम चाहते हैं कि इंडियन प्रोडक्ट्स ज़्यादा बिकें, ज़्यादा चाहे वो थोड़ा महंगा क्यों ना, लेकिन इट इज़ इवेंचुअली गोइंग टू इम्प्रूव द इंडियन इकोनॉमी ओनली. Now we are going to discuss the homework solution. So I have given you an assignment. तो उसमें से दो क्वेश्चन थे that we have discussed in the question and answer session only. So I haven't written those solutions here. You can, if you want to write it down, you can note it down from the previous lecture. So the first answer is Golden Quadrille superhighways are 6-lane roads that are constructed to connect main 4 cities of India. They are constructed to save time and reduce the distance between the main 4 cities, and they connect the cities like Calcutta, Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. Question number 2. Tourism helps with the increase in capital, which is very important for the economic development of the region. It helps with the employment opportunities for people, and it improves the socio-economic condition of the region. The explanation to that is the earning that are got from this tourism helps with improving the standard of living of the people. Tourism helps in promoting cultural awareness and in preserving the local culture and traditions of a place or region. Now this tourism is a source of generation of income and for the employment of people for the formal and informal sectors that are helpful in the economic development of the region. Now question number 3 we have covered in the question answer session, so I haven't written the solution here. You can copy it from the previous lecture only. Answer number 4, road density. So the length of road per 100 square kilometer of area is known as density of roads. Problems what they face: road density in India is very uneven. The road network is uneducated in keeping views of the volume of traffic and passengers. About half of the roads are unmetalled. Unmetalled roads limits their usage during the rainy season, and the national highways are also inadequate. The roadways are highly congested in cities, and most of the bridges and converters are old and narrow. Most of the state highways and district roads are rough and troublesome. Now last answer, 5th one is also the same. The importance of inland waterways declined in the wake of rapid development of roads and rail transport. So the deforestation of hill slopes has led to the erosion of sleeting of rivers, which has made navigation difficult, which has also affected the inland waterways in many ways. Now the homework that I want to assign you in this particular lecture is that you have to do the in-text questions that is given on page number 59. So there are probably 7 questions, and the first you can do it first of all these questions in your rough notebook. Show it to me. I will let you know which main question that you have to do it in your class or notebook. I will let you know in the online class possible. Okay. So please do these questions as a homework. And if you have any queries related to anything, you can ask me in the online classes that is going to be held alternative days on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. You can ask me your queries on these particular days. We are going to have the online classes. Okay. And please let me know if there is any query very urgent. You can WhatsApp me also. That is also being done. I am available on WhatsApp 24/7 if you want my help. Okay. So if you have any queries, you can let me know. And that's it for today's lecture. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture, and please take care of your health.